First things first, like what was your biggest struggle you were having on the field prior to starting this program?
I'd probably say like my transfer during catching the ball, getting it to a right throwing position during my throwdowns.
Right. So when you first started, you were kind of like a guy who's always transferring at the year. Is that what you'd say?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Performance wise, were you having any sort of like stressors while you were playing? Like obviously you're a good player, you're committed to college, you're going to New Paltz next year, which is a pretty good program. What exact like did you have anything that stressed you when you were playing behind the plate?
Not really. I mean, my coaches have always taught me to be like calm and collected behind the plate.
Right.
But I mean, outside of having no coaching, that's probably the most stress I've had,
Okay.
not knowing if I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
But obviously now with your help and your coaching, I do.
Sweet. All right, awesome. I know it's been since early November when I first reached out to you, but like I know I reached out to you initially, but at some point you came across my page, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you remember like it was a specific post or like, just what
Mhm.
exactly transpired to get you to follow me in the first place?
I think it might have been you working with Maris kid
Okay.
that you were working with, and I saw you doing some pop time drills, and I was like, oh, give that a shot, reach out.
Okay, cool. Sweet. I know it's been a while, so it's probably hard for you to like
Yeah, no, that's all
um
right.
so like in terms of being a senior who's committed to a college, like what was
Hmm.
your biggest doubt, self-doubt before you started this? Like what did you have trouble with like standing? Like why couldn't you do X, Y, or Z?
I think just like a lack of there being like catchers coaches within programs now.
Okay.
I wasn't getting the right knowledge that I needed, so I would go turn to the internet and see people online, each other's like through online like coaching. So I use that stuff to my
So
knowledge of
you're kind of
coaching.
like aimlessly wandering, hoping that you found something that
Yeah,
was kind of stuck and it worked for you, right?
yeah.
And just so you know, you're like out of all the kids that I've worked with and all the kids that are now in the program, you're like every kid's in the same boat. Now we're going to transition to like during the program. And again, I know it's been a little bit of time before you started, but just
Mm,
like think back as best you can. All right.
I gotcha.
So tell me some of the stuff that we went over, started working together. Like, what was the most impactful thing that you found during your duration within the program?
Well, I mean, to start off, not even like pop time related. It was just my stance. I was on my toes. You got me more
Like
like
on the
for I
instep to your feet,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So I was more on the ground and with the pop time stuff. My front foot was dragging when I was getting that down. I was transferring at my ear. Um yeah, that's what I can remember.
Right. So do you feel like you're able to like continue to correct those things? Like obviously the transfers, once you learn how to do it, it's hard to like
Hmm.
start messing that up again, you know what I mean? But like the front foot, like I'm encountering with like every kid I'm working with,
Yeah.
you said
Like
like
yeah.
getting a short step down into the ground. Do you feel like those are things that like you'll be able to correct like on your own?
Yeah, now I definitely have like a feel for it, knowledge of what I'm doing wrong.
Cool.
So now I'm able to act it without even thinking.
All right. So it's not pop time related, but like,
Mm.
is there anything within the program that allowed you to boost your confidence, whether it be like certain cues, a certain feedback, something that you did that just like it made you feel better as a catcher?
Honestly, just your constant feedback was really helpful.
Sweet.
That helped me feel a lot better of things I was doing wrong, and
Awesome.
you working with other guys saying that they were doing some of the same similar stuff wrong, and you helped them get better. Really
Right.
nice.
Cool. I appreciate that. So yeah, again, all the kids I'm working with right now that are doing this and that have committed to doing it, it's the
Hmm.
same problems from the top down, regardless of age. So like,
Yeah.
obviously you're a little bit later in your like journey, baseball journey, but like everybody's got the same problems. So like that's what I'm trying to figure out and solve wants to get better.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. So you said your biggest struggle was not knowing how to do certain things, right?
Yep.
So, what results have you seen in those areas that make you feel better about yourself? Maybe have you performed better or just kind of move better? Like that's the most important.
I just and quicker like transferring at the midline feels a lot better than wasting more time to get it up to the ear.
Right.
Um, with my like the knee and shoulder thing, getting that like down to the ground.
At first,
Uh,
like turn or whatever inwards.
yeah, yeah, it's been a lot.
Sweet. All right. So, you said you weren't really stressed by much. Like that's awesome that you're kind of
Mhm.
like composed. But
Yeah.
like, what kind of relief going into college and knowing that you've kind of learned new material, so to speak, like what kind of relief and like do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah, I think your coaching's been a big. I'll be an impact at New Paltz and with the really like the edge of college level understanding of the position.
Now that you've had some results, right? So I sent you that little clip before.
Yeah.
And without getting your like full pop time, like your transfer time has gone down over a tenth of a second. So that's pretty
Yep.
significant on its own, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of throwing involved, but we really fine tuned the way that you're moving. You were a kid who was kind of like flipping your hips to throw before, whereas now you're like working behind and through the ball.
Hmm.
What type of kid would you recommend get into a program like this?
Honestly, I'd say probably like I'd start them younger, like 10 or 11 build up their basis first, because
Right,
I've been lost up until my senior year, which is crazy. So I
right,
think if you start young and just give them a nice basis, that they'll be fine their entire rest of
right.
their
So you
career.
think it kind of creates a foundation for everybody, like from a younger age to just kind of build upon as you get older.
Yeah,
Like, so
exactly.
somebody
Yeah.
who's in your situation where you were committed to a college, a
Hmm.
pretty good college nonetheless,
Hmm.
you had results in it. So it's not just for younger kids, but it works for kind of kids
Oh
that
yeah, I'd say it's for all age groups. Yeah.
awesome, sweet.
Hmm.
So did you have any doubts before like when I first reached out to you and I was like, hey, I just created this program. Like you want to hop into it. Did you have any doubts?
maybe maybe a little because I didn't really know you, but after the first call, we kind of connected, and I was like, I trust you ever
Cool.
since. And then looked through your Instagram, saw a few clips that I liked, so I was
Sweet.
ready. Yeah.
So if I'm talking about like my career, if somebody was like, hey, I've got a 4 week program that's going to knock this off your pop time, I would have
Yeah.
looked at them and been like, you're out of your mind. Like there's no way I'm looking at a video screen and I'm getting better. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? What aspects within the program though did you find like most helpful? Was it the feedback? Was it like the teaching videos? Was it the drills? Was it kind of like a culmination of everything? Like what benefited you specifically the most?
I'd say the feedback on the drills, like the videos,
Okay.
and on some of the videos, you'd show me what I was doing wrong, like you would act it out, and I thought that was really helpful.
Sweet. So, like, if anybody else came to you and they're like, "Hey, Alex, this guy Will, he reached out to me.
Hmm.
He's like, he's got this 4 week program, but I don't think I can really get better due to online coaching." Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, I just show them my stats, like I got better from it, and it works. Like
Right. So you
they
you
should
would
stick
provide
to it.
you would provide hard evidence that you had some sort of success within it,
That
right?
yeah.
Okay.